Racing to the 2021 Kentucky Derby, and this time let's take an updated analysis, a look at the pace and running style projected for the Kentucky Derby. We do not have post positions yet, and we don't actually have the final composition of the field, but I think a lot of times when people talk about pace, they're also talking about running style. And there also is a third layer of race analysis, which is the race flow, which is kind of from the race and the pace, you can kind of determine who is going to get a better trip based on those. So I want to talk a little bit about that. First, let's get you up to date on Thursday. The latest notes. No word yet officially on Dream Shake and Get Her Number if they're going to enter in the Kentucky Derby. Possibility of a decision waiting till Saturday. I really think what both of them are doing is waiting to see if one of the two big favorites, Rock Your World or Essential Quality, passes on the race or something happens, then they may enter. Otherwise, I'm leaning towards Dream Shake going to the Pat Day Mile, and King Fury is going to run if he can get in, and then the next horse on the list is Keep Me in Mind. Now, right now, with the addition of Caddo River this week, it looks like the possible Leone E, based on his best races. Remember, always take a horse's running style from their best races. If a horse loses by 30 lengths, or if 5 races in a row, they just can't compete with a certain type of running style, that means that's probably not their best running styles. But his best running style was in the Smarty Jones, and then also in his maiden victory. That was on the lead. And in his worst race was when he was taking a little off the pace 2 races back in the Rebel. So I think Caddo River wants the lead. I also think they want to set it up a little bit better for Essential Quality. For Essential Quality to be more of a mid-pack closer type horse rather than closer to the pace like he's been the last 2 races. In the Bluegrass, Essential Quality really had to get up close to the pace so that Highly Motivated didn't jump out to a 2 to 3 length advantage on Essential Quality. Now the pressers, this is where it gets a little bit more judgmental. You've got Highly Motivated, who the last time out was an early horse in the Bluegrass. Midnight Bourbon, Soup and Sandwich, who was also forced into the lead in his most recent race in the Florida Derby. And then Mandaloon, who's been chasing that lone speed. He chased Midnight Bourbon all the way around in the Lecomte Stakes and then won the second leg of the series in the Risen Star at a little bit longer distance. But last time he kind of chased and flattened out from that presser roll. I think they're going to lay back, and ideally they either want to be behind some of the other pressers or even be in that mid-pack position for Mandaloon. Now, post position may determine where he ultimately ends up, but I think going in, that's what they want for Mandaloon. Now, the stalkers and the mid-packers, that's where Essential Quality is probably going to be further back this race. That's where Dynamic won. Hot Rod Charlie, who again was on the lead the last time, they got a good trip on the front end, and he was faster, but he was able to come off the pace in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile last year. He had a 3-wide trip in his first start of this year. And then Known Agenda, you know, since getting blinkers, I think, you know, he proved the last time he could sit at the rail, stay a little bit behind, and then kind of slingshot out in the stretch for Known Agenda. Now, the closer is probably still going to be Bourbonic and Like the King, no matter what the run pace flow is, no matter what the fractions are, and no matter the post position draw. I think those are really the only 2 closers. Again, I always try to only map out the horses that I think are really going to be in contention or viably fit. Like Sainthood, I don't really know what to do with a horse like that. I just don't think he fits on the win end. And there's a few other horses where I don't know if they can quite win the race, so I don't really want to project them until we get the final post positions for those type of horses. Now, again, the race profile for the pace, you've got 3 types of paces. You've got a fast pace, a moderate pace, and a slow pace. Fast pace usually can benefit some of the stalkers and the closers in the Kentucky Derby. But here, I think even though we've got that mid-group of stalkers and pressers and mid-pack, I don't really see Caddo River setting 111 fractions like he did in the Arkansas Derby on the turnaround. I think he's going to try to be on the lead but slow it down. That's his best chance. And then I think some of those pressers and stalkers, they don't need to run fast early like Soup and Sandwich and Midnight Bourbon and some of the other ones. They don't want a fast pace. So, and then the slow pace benefits the front runners and the pace pressers. So they're going to sit there and do what they do. if they want a slow pace, it could benefit some of the closers. Now the race flow, this is where, depending on the pace and the running styles, will it favor the mid-pack, which is what I'm projecting right now, or will it favor the closers? If sometimes these horses with a 20-horse field, they may end up as a closer, even though their previous running style really wasn't to close. So that's a look at your race flows, your pace styles. Again, still determine the 20-horse field and Getter Number and Dream Shake still determine if they're going to run the race, and King Fury whether he gets in, although I think he would be more of a mid-pack closer if he does get in. Where do you see the pace running in this race? A fast pace, a moderate pace, or a slow pace? Leave a comment. Also, hit that subscribe and ring that bell as we lead you up to the 2021 Kentucky Derby.